Welcome to the Human Design Festival.
Live in Sofia and online worldwide.
Hello and welcome to the virtual space of the Human Design Element. We have gathered today to talk about the upcoming International Human Design Festival and Immersion. We are organizing it together with Veronica. My name is Lucretia, and we are very happy to have you here. And hello to you, Veronica.
Hello, everybody. And we would like to welcome you live in Sofia from the 22nd to the 25th of January. Or if you cannot make it live, unfortunately, and be with us in Aura, you can still join us online from the 30th of January till the 1st of February. And we would love to present you our next speaker, the lovely Lorraine. Hi.
Hello, everybody from around the world, whatever time zone you're in, whatever space and place. My name is Lorraine Berg. I am so happy to be here. Thank you so much, Veronica and Lucretia, for this opportunity.
Yay. Well, for those who don't know Lorraine, it would be amazing if you can share a little bit about who Lorraine is actually, and yeah, more about you.
Oh, that's a lovely question. Because it's so dynamic, but I'm going to try to simplify whatever way it wants to come out today. I am a BG5 consultant and analyst working with this material for 5.5 years now. But prior to that, I have a professional career that led me down a lot of leadership roles, places and spaces, partnering with corporations for opening territories and educating said territories on policies and systems and products. So I've been in international stages, convention shows, and just a wonderful career. I was born in the beauty industry. My parents had a beauty salon. They entered it in a partnership. So I've always been around entrepreneurship. I've been an entrepreneur my whole entire life. Quintessential to my initiator style, I've initiated about several businesses. And I know every spectrum of the highs of business ownership and success, and including collapse and failure in business success. And I synthesize this information of BG5 knowledge and my professional experiential background to support other entrepreneurs in leadership roles in understanding different communication strategies. So that's a little bit about me, past, present, and hopefully future of a little holistic view of who I am.
Thank you. Thank you for presenting yourself so beautifully. And we would actually love to have to tap in your experience. And the big news, guys, is that Lorraine is actually coming all the way from America to Sofia, to Europe, to light us with her presence and her beautiful voice, as you can hear. So, would you like to come and join us? We would be ever so glad to have you.
And feel the impact of this beautiful manifestor.
Well, yes, please do open invitation for everybody to come and join us. It's going to be a fantastic event filled with amazing conversations and experiential insights into how to really present yourself in ways that feel so authentic and true to you, especially during these current times that we are experiencing globally. So it's going to be an honor, and I look forward to meeting everybody there.
Yay, we also cannot wait. It's coming fast, actually, those
Yes.
few months that we have.
Yeah.
And this year's slogan of the festival is Be in Your Element. So we're wondering, Lorraine, about your element, your superpower.
How you wield it in your manifestor way.
How do I wield it, my element? So my element really lies in, hmm, hmm, that's a great question. What is my element? What is my superpower? And I want to make it practical because I can talk channels, gates, and right numbers. But my superpower is really holding space for transformation. I bring an energy of being able to hold space for somebody else's experience and supporting them through whatever transformation is happening with grace, with love, with a nurturing, gentle hand. Because I've been in many places and spaces in my life that have given me the ability to recognize and to support somebody else during that transition. So I guess
Mm.
that's my element.
And
And I
actually,
can,
before we started, we did together a guided breathing exercise to center, and it was so beautiful. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. I am very connected to my body. So breathing and making the connection to my environment is something that I carry in my awareness. Yeah,
Mhm.
I can confirm that because when we had this that session with you together, Lorraine,
yeah.
um, I could feel exactly that what you said. Nothing particularly was happening, like nothing like intense or whatever, but the transformation was just sweet and soft,
Mm.
flowing in the flow. It was really magic.
Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. It might be that I'm
It is what it
also.
is. I'm just
Yes, it is.
sharing.
It is what it is, but that's it's just the comfortableness that I find myself in currently, that I can communicate from this space. On a personal note, a little introduction to me. I'm also a mother, so I am operating a penta here, and I'm rearing children, and I have four. I have four children with many very different personalities and
You're a hero.
energies. Yeah, so I really can hold the diversity. I understand. I can hold the compassion. And I would love people to just ground themselves a little bit in like the sweetness in life, you know? There's life that happens, the noise, but there's always the sweet spot of being comfortable in certain ways that I hope that that's what's being transmitted through my voice and through my presence and through my energy, that I can hold that space for people. And for the people who are familiar with the human design world, which I'm sure everybody watching this now is, my highest aspiration is peace. So for me, it's a very important node to not only experience the peace within myself by being correct and saying the things that really want to come out of me in a healthy way, but also experience it in my world. Like when I see my children being peaceful, or I have connections with other people and they can feel that, and I can start making that connection with the inside and the outside, is the sweet spot and comfortability for me. So, and I'm aware of these little things. I kind of measure it. We were talking a little bit about today's transit. We are in the 57, which I have the 57 three times in my design. It is my driving force in my personality, and it's also in my truth and transformation, my Pluto, on both sides. So it's this intuitive way of really being able to bring grace and ease and comfort and clarity in moments that seem destabilized, uncertain, doubtful, or kind of like nervous. And that's just I guess that's my superpower, right? That's just something that I am. I don't have to do it. I don't have to be it. It's something that I am. And I really enjoy holding that space for people. And so I'm happy to be here and be able to bring just a different fractal, a different energy, a different presence, and to also collaborate and co-create with such amazing pioneer luminaries of our time that are working this energy together to bring more harmony with their experience, with their environments.
Mhm.
Oh, beautifully said. And I would like to look at the other side of the moon, if you don't mind.
Please.
So when we meet human design, we have this one of the first concepts that we hear and meet is about the mind, the not self mind, how the mind is not here to make to use it for making a decision. And I wonder if you would like to share a bit about that. How was it for you when you
Absolutely.
heard that? Was it a struggle or was it something, ah, what a relief?
I do have to say that I'm not new to personal development and esoteric wisdom. I started very young in my life with wielding every facet of the synthesis of human design in its own fractal. I actually even worked at the Kabbalah Center in New York City and Manhattan for about 4 years. So I knew a lot about, these ancient languages, down to Eastern philosophy as well. Reading the Dhammapada and learning about meditation early on in my life. So these notions have always been around of being able to watch your mind, right? Because that's what meditation teaches us. If you sit and you try to breathe and you connect with this movement in your body, all of a sudden you're going to start to see all these movies and your mind make these stories up. But in reality, you're just sitting there, like nothing is happening, and you have to return back to the breath, right? This is one of the things that meditation teaches us. So for a very long time, I've already had that notion and concept of working with observing the mind, of meditating, of going within, of going to a yoga class, of going to here or there in these spiritual disciplines, and understanding that there's this big holistic way of looking at who we are as human beings and how the mind is always on and moving, whether we pay attention to it or not. So when I came to human design, and this concept was again reignited for me. The lens and perspective that it brought me just deepened that understanding, just a couple of different levels. I'm a triple split, so true to my nature, it takes me a while to work with concepts, ideas, to process them. But when they land so deep in the knowing that it just becomes part of the fabric of my breath. So the concept of the mind, the monkey mind, I loved. I was like, yes, look how clear these words are, right? I was like, yes, something that's kind of abstract in the world that we live in became so clear, but very difficult. And understanding through my practice, through my education, how we can actually like bring a loving attention to our mind and really appreciate its generosity because it's always processing and being able to lean into it when you need it. But the key is understanding that the body held the authority when I learned it through human design. And I said, that makes sense, right? Because it's the same thing in meditation. You're just sitting there. Nothing is happening. Your mind is running through all these scenarios, but what do they say? Come back to the breath, come back to the body, right? Come back, ground it, come inside. And when I started to really practice getting in touch with my inner authority is when everything started to settle. It wasn't this grand confusion of what does that mean, right? It was like, oh, it's the same simple practice we do every day. But you got to do that check-in with the body, which most people don't do. It's not a practice most people learn how to do, but it's something that's really important and beneficial for your mental health and your well-being to check in with yourself from time to time and just see that those movies, those scenarios, those thoughts without taking action, right? It's all just fluttering around through there. It'll continue doing that. And don't take action because you're right here, right now. And I think that's what made a big difference for me. It was like, I loved all of it. Obviously, look, I do it professionally now. But yes, I loved all of it because it was so clear to me. Yeah.
No, thank you for this, how you put it together. Um, I have often had this question in my head, would I have come to the realization that I have energy that is responding and I can follow it? And this is my reliable mechanism for making correct decisions. And I often answer with probably not. So I'm very thankful for human design for that.
Yeah.
I wonder if you would like to share with us what is probably what you're most grateful for this knowledge. What was your biggest benefit and improvement and um, wisdom that you use in your life, and you're very it made a great difference in your life.
Um, I want to say the biggest takeaway from all these years of experimenting and growing within my own self-knowledge and self-recognition of my gifts, my talents, and my limitations is really the relationship that I have with my experience. Because I have to say, when I was younger, I was always a seeker and I was always looking to understand, why is this happening to me again? And why, and why? And I always had these deep questions of like that, why, right? Particularly because I did struggle quite a bit. Academically, I struggled to fit into my nuclear family. And it was like, why do these things keep happening? And the human design system brought me a deep validation in just the way that I naturally operate, which then shifted the way that I perceive my environment or my experience. I understood why those things happen the way that they happen, and that brought just deep comfort in my knowingness and in my sovereignty as a differentiated human being. I'm not here to be like everyone else. I'm not here to follow those patterns and systems and ways. I'm me. And there's nothing wrong with that. So everything changed when human design really worked, I think, internally with the information that I had already been working on for many years and just gave it that little extra oomph into an actionable response to my world. It wasn't a mental one. It was like this initiation in my deep knowing that really helped me understand my children better, my relationship to my lifelong partner, to the dynamics of my childhood. I understood why certain patterns kept showing up. I understood why some of my initiations didn't make it to the end. I understood things about myself that was just so warming. It was so like, wow, right? Like that was incredible. And that's one of the wisdoms that I think I can share is the relationship that you have with your life, with your experiences, with your connections, with your relationships is something that totally changed for me in all of the best of ways. And I'm not saying it all just to be hyperbolic about the beauty of it all because, I'm an emotional being. And when my waves are low, they are low. That melancholy is delicious. The beginning, it really wasn't that exciting to allow myself to feel those things, but the awareness really helps you process the experience in a way that still keeps you in your authority, where you understand why that's happening and not get really. There's a saying in Spanish, like when the floor moves underneath you, right? You know that saying when the floor moves from underneath you and you're like, wait, what's happening? What's happening? It gives you this connection to like, oh, okay, I know how to navigate this and I know my tools and my strengths and I know how to approach it. So it's that relationability, that the way that we connect, that's really important for me. And I think that's what people experience with human design. You're like, oh, my mom was like that for that. Oh, my dad and my boss, my partner, my children, and you get this depth. And you can just relax. You can just relax. Nothing to do.
Mm.
Oh my God, a mother of four and so grounded and peaceful. It's rare actually to meet.
No kidding. I mean, my life might seem that way here, but it's chaotic. Can you imagine raising four children in different stages of development, running two businesses? Um, yeah, and in my pentom, the 31 and the 46, I'm admin assistant to everyone. I am admin assistant. Mom, where's my gloves for hockey? And where's this? And, my husband send the email. And, it's like all the time I'm admin assistant. And
Yeah,
I
I have
love
the
it.
31st, so yeah, I can
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
love it because I love them, because I love myself, and I can give from that deep well of knowing. Yeah. And being able to communicate my stages and phases, because I am the 1222. I am a very moody individual, very moody. I'm either open to socializing with my kids and all of their friends that they want to bring home all the time, or I'm like, not today. It is a quiet day today. And being able to just communicate that, right? Today, nope. Today we're not doing this, right? So it's a matter of communicating. Yeah.
Mm. Well, I was listening to you and your voice, magical voice,
Oh.
and talking about meditation. And
Mhm.
since I had a sneak peek at your design, you have a defined head and ajna.
Mhm.
Um, I myself also have it defined. And actually, I also come from a background of Eastern philosophy from my father. He's deep into martial arts. So
Mm.
since I was very little, I was surrounded by all of this energy and mindset. And yet, meditation for me is always working only if it's movement meditation, like either practicing Qigong or Tai Chi or Sinituan, Pakwajan, or dancing or skiing or just doing activities. And when I would just, and that's active meditation, right? So you're
Mhm.
in the movement, but you're actually meditating. And it never really worked for me, the passive meditation, like just lying, unless I'm doing a guided meditation for women I work with. I work also as a dance practitioner and
And a beautiful
um,
one.
alchemic Dao. So I wonder, because you said this is your background as well, and maybe it's also connected to the mind question, but how are you dealing with your um, non-stop chatter, and is it through the breath work you're doing? I really wonder.
Great question. And I just want to recognize your beauty as a dancer. I've seen some of your videos. You're absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, for me, it's something, this is where my universalization comes in. I'm a 3/5 in my practice, in the physical body, that fifth line in my body. There are so many tools and wisdom opportunities and systems, matrices, and things to assist us, right, in understanding our experience. Meditation being one of them, human design being one of them, right? Astrology being one of them. I feel that tools are all meant to be transcended into your experiential process. They're just here to help you get to that next level. And so I don't meditate anymore. I used to meditate avidly for about maybe 13 years. It was introduced to me when I was very, very young. I was about 12 years old, and I discovered I had a half brother from my father's side. And when we started forming a relationship, he was heavily into Eastern philosophy. So he would talk to me about these ideas, principles, and notions. And I meditated for quite a long period of time. But I transcended that. After you learn some of the key principles and the elements, you realize that the meditation is in the action of everything that you can potentially do if you carry the awareness for it. Back to that awareness principle. So I don't actively do it. And I have the 6447. I have the 47 three times in my design. So I always have a lot of realizations along my pathway of this world of confusion, with the 6447 always being a mental loop. But just like I said in meditation, I understood that there's a difference here. The mind is doing this, but I'm just sitting here like nothing's happening, right? I'm just trying to breathe. I'm just trying to stay here as long as I can while this mind is doing all of this, and it's trying to take me in these loops. So for me now, post-Uranus opposition, 45 years old around the sun, I understand that I can turn it off. It doesn't always have to bother me the way that it used to, because now I have awareness towards it. And that has been also a very liberating experience for me as an initiator, to be able to know that I could just turn it off and come back to the body. So the body is something that I've always been really connected to my body, all of its sensations and movements. I remember as a very young child going to sleep and being able to really connect with my own heartbeat because my head was on a pillow. So I always had this way of really listening deeply inwards. And that has really also shifted and changed through human design and BG5, of always returning back to the body, because it's always doing things and it's communicating with us if we pay attention to it. So that's how I kind of turn it off. When I feel like I'm going in a mental loop and I feel like it's this nonstop, I got to do self-care. Stop. Self-care. And I know self-care. I actually went to cosmetology school to learn how to take care of my skin, my hair, my nails. I taught it, I teach it, I do it as a second career, right? So I know self-care and I move into self-care mode and I take care of this body and I go within, depending on my mood of what it is that I need. It could be nutrition, where I really focus on my nutrition or making myself a delicious meal, because that's self-care. Because sometimes when we're moving in these mental loops all the time, it's like you forget, right? You just grab whatever's there and you eat and you go, right? But really making it like a ceremony, a ritual, self-care, come back to the body, hydrate, put a face mask on, take a nap, whatever it is. So I feel like I've always used these tools to transcend them into an experiential process, a format that naturally becomes part of me. So that's how I kind of shift that from doing meditation for 13 plus years to now being able to tap into it whenever I need to, because I already have it built in me. And it's the same thing I do with human design. I can speak human design like most of us can with this really jargony terminology, but go deeper, go beyond, and have that conversation to connect, because it becomes part of you when you live it. When you understand it and you know it, it becomes part of your expression, right? And I know you can feel it through my words. I know it. I know you can feel it through my vibe. I know you can feel it through the frequency that's coming out, because it's embodied. So when you go through these experiences and you process them, you analyze them, you reject what doesn't pragmatically, you accept what works for you, that helps you be in that level of comfortableness that you know that lives inside of you, it becomes part of you. You speak it and people hear it and people can know the difference. You know when somebody's bullshitting you. We're not dumb. We come with sense. All human beings come with senses and abilities that we know things without even saying it, you know? So it's like that. Those are the things that I find amazing about all the tools that I've studied. I've studied the I Ching. I started studying the I Ching when I was like 16 years old. You know, so it's like, did I fully understand it? Absolutely not. I'm a triple split. I was 16, right? But now I'm 45 and I Ching has never left my orbit, right? It's like, so now I understand it in such a different way, right? Chakra system, definition or undefinition. It's like these things become part of you. They become the beyond. They become the expression, the embodiment of your communication style, which is what I'm going to be talking about in Sophia, communication.
Yeah. When you were doing like that about your mind, I will never forget another brilliant manifester, our teacher, Alokanan Diaz.
Oh, love Alokanan Diaz.
He was like, he would say about me, I have the only the 4253 and then the other channels in the head, the Ajna, and he was like, yeah, that's a bull with in a helicopter. The helicopter mind, you know.
Great analogy. Isn't he great with those little punchy? He
Yeah,
really
yeah.
breaks through with that consciousness, honey. Hey,
So,
Alok, if you're watching. Hi, Alok. He's one of my mentors as well.
Yeah, but I really can feel you have the 3 awareness centers,
Yeah.
and you're so connected, grounded. I love it.
Oh, thank you. Catch me on a low wave, and that might be a different story, but yeah. When I'm all melancholy and like absorbed and I don't know what's going on, but I just allow myself to feel it all and just move through it because it's really, yeah, I've learned to appreciate that. Mhm.
Mm, lovely.
well, I can't wait to see you live, Lorraine.
Ah! It's gonna be
Yeah.
so good. It's gonna be so good.
I just
So it's a
thinking about it.
yeah, human design and BG5 are incredible tools. They're incredible ways of learning more about our differentiation. It is something that more people are understanding its value, respecting the nature of the body of work. It's extraordinary in its capability. And it's a never-ending unfolding, which is what has kept me, connected to this body of work for such a long time, knowing that I've traveled so many different fractals of esoteric wisdoms and spiritual disciplines. None of them really caught my attention for a very long time. I have to say they have a pattern. Come year 2 and 3, it starts fizzling out for me. But human design, because it is about differentiation, because it has so many layers of depth of how you relate to the information and resonance, always keeps me so engaged, and my clientele base as well, because it's part of the natural unfolding of life that there's always something going on. And how do we relate to that experience that is really the art of differentiation, because it's not for me to tell you anything, it's for you to discover it for yourself. And that's the true nature of this type of work, and why it stimulates me with such deep, resonating passion that I could be able to deliver this information in ways, that hit people in those spaces that meet them there, right? And to be able to do business transformation, which is something that I absolutely love. So as a BG5 analyst, my specialty is in the small business sector because that's where my lived experience is. That's what I relate to. That's what I resonate to. That's what I know. And I do business transformation with leadership. And it is extraordinary to see what people can actually do with this information. I don't really know. I'll be honest. I just go there and share mechanics. I'm like this, and I start connecting dots for people. And I don't know what's going to happen afterwards. I really don't. I don't go in with an expectation or a conclusion at all, because I know it all can happen. It's all a possibility. But it really is the people. When the people all work together, when it all, starts to click in on its own because people get interested and intrigued on how to open up these communication pathways, that business transformation is impressive. And I take no credit. I'm just reading, the mechanics. I'm just reading the blueprints, if you will. But what people are being empowered to do is incredible. At least with my case studies, I've seen some fantastic results in that. And that's the same thing with human design. It's like what people can actually do with it is incredible, on how they can change their lives from feeling so much oppression and suffering and confusion and uncertainty to being somebody so grounded and so graceful about their experiences. It's something incredible to be able to share that at the right time, of course, but to be able to share that, that's the power of outer authority. That's the power of really processing your life and moving through it with this grounded clarity and being able to make a contribution that nobody else on this planet can do but you. and being able to be honest about it. Yeah, it's incredible. It really is such a beautiful system. Yeah. I'm very proud of it. And my journey as well. Yeah, it's been incredible. Yeah.
So guys, if you would like to meet this 25-year-old lady until she opens her mouth and the 45 years of wisdom start pouring out and get impacted, we would really love to have you in Sofia and or also online. Lorraine is gonna be in both places for you. Do come and yeah, would you like to?
Open invitation, everyone. Let's go. Open the doors, tell a friend, share, like, comment, all the things that they say you do on these algorithms. And I think it's of value to also mention that if you are watching this, please do share it somewhere or copy the link. It helps the algorithms in the background know that there are really real people engaging with this content to help spread the news to more people. If you're into this world or you know somebody who can, benefit from some of this information, I think it's important to also invite people to engage, to have these conversations, to come live or join the online and see what it can offer you with some tools and resources, because that's what I'm all about. I particularly, when I found human design, I'll tell you my story. Do you want to hear my story of how human design entered my world? It was an initiation, of course, but I just think it's such a romantic story because that 1222 loves to be romantic about things. I was in a $1 million business mastermind. At the time, I was managing and operating a brick and mortar salon, and I had 28 employees. I was nationally published. I was recognized, lists of accolades. Okay. And I'm in this business mastermind that was online around 2020 when the world was all online. And I remember we had breakout rooms because that's how these events happen. And we had a breakout room and we were waiting to shift into a different topic of lecture. And one of my former students of 20 years when I was teaching cosmetology school was also in this mastermind. And I heard her speaking to some other people, which this was a business thing. It was about system, processes, people, spreadsheets, right? Money management, business, right? And I heard her say, I don't have any of my chakras defined, so I amplify energy. And in my peripheral, which is my perspective, my mind strategically focused on it, like, what did you say? Because I thought it was kind of interesting. It was in that environment, right? And of course, because I also love the binary of life. So I asked her, I said, where did you see that? Where did you learn that? And she goes, oh, go here to mybodygraph.com. You put in your information. And the minute I pulled in my information, it was like this knowing and unknowing. It was like I knew everything that was there, but I didn't, right? Like I knew chakra system and tree of life, Kabbalah, circuitry, I Ching numbers, right? Chops. But I was like, I've never saw it together. So it was like a boom in my face, like, oh, this is beautiful. But what is this? And that was the introduction into my experience. I found obviously the legacy school first because my mind went down, where did this come from? Right? Who brought this into the world? I found Ra on YouTube. I found IHDS, the legacy school. And then in the little corner, I saw BG5 Business Institute. And that's kind of like how I followed my breadcrumbs. And I was like, business? They use this for business? And I was like, bing, 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 bing. And I went right in. I had my first foundational reading with Karen Sherwood, my mentor, my ally, my colleague, my friend. And I was in. I was like, yeah, this is everything that I am in one. I've always been spiritual. I've always been hyper professional. I've always worked this way, right? I did that. This was the perfect convergence of the two. So BG5 has a different language. It's designed for the others, right? International Human Design School, human design itself is personal transformation. It's for that radical personal activation. BG5 is for everyone else. Our language is different. So it gives us a way to enter without the esoteric terms. You're Jupiter and you're, to go into a business or boardroom, you're not going to say, your Saturn return, it gave us the language to actually reach the masses. And I've been hooked ever since. So I learned both systems at the same time. True to a manifestor, we can take in a lot of information at one time. Was very confusing in the beginning, and it took me about 3 years to actually understand my decision-making process, which was my personal experience. Everybody has their own journey with connecting with their decision-making strategy. Some people get it right away, some people need a little longer, but reminder, I'm a triple split. It takes me a little time. But once I connected to it, it was an incredible journey because at first that was one of the biggest challenges to understand that I was emotional. And I'm like, that's a very conditioned word, emotions. It's a very homogenized world out there when you say the word emotion, right? Particularly for me too. I'm first generation American here in the United States, and I come from a Latin background, which we are already pegged with being emotionally sexy and like dramatic and it's already conditioned. It's conditioned. I was like, what do you mean I'm emotional? I'm not an emotional person. I always thought I was like this. So connecting with my emotions was something that I had to process on my own. Oh, I'm feeling that. Oh, I never felt that before. Oh, okay. It's like really allowing myself to feel all of it, not judging it, not criticizing it, not attaching a story of the mind, but allowing my own alchemical process to reach its own maturity and timing in its own way. It's my body's response to the experience. I don't know. So those are the wonderful stories that I can share about my personal journey and how I learned to weave all of this, knowing that I've worked in really high-end leadership roles, business management and strategy, these visionaries, these entrepreneurs that are always so forward thinking, right? Because they're always under pressure to push that vision forward for the benefit of other people, right? Because you go into business to provide solutions for other people, but they always lose themselves in the middle. It's always like out there, So like bringing people back home to remind themselves of who they are, because aligned leadership is needed now more than ever, because this transition is really showing us what we need to focus on. And I don't care what's happening out there. That's out there. That's the noise. It would always happen. It's always going to be that the world is always going to be the world. Has its own patterns, has its own suffering. What really matters is your own experience to that and how you navigate it. And when you want to be a business owner and you want to be a thought leader and you want to be in a position of management, of influence with a real clean, pure heart and a clean outer authority, that's what's needed right now. People who are connected to the inside and the outside so they can really make a difference. Not only for themselves, but to their environments, their people, their families. It ripples. So that's why I do what I do, because I know that I'm an initiator and I can help people with a new strategy and a new way to like really pioneer something that has really deep purpose and meaning.
Oh, thank you so much, Lorraine, for
You
your
ladies are
amazing
amazing.
words. And you guys who are watching, if you would like to experience more of this, more of human design and BG5 and Lorraine and other inspiring teachers like her, do join us in Sofia live or online or both. Check out our whole program on our website, humandesignelement.com, and follow us on all social media because we have surprises coming up and some gifts maybe, but I'm not going to say more. And we hope to see you soon. Bye bye for
Please
now.
do join us.
Yay.
Bye.
Thank you, Lorraine.
Bye.
Bye.
Would you like to join us?
And truly be in your element.